Welcome to a brand new video about the Amiga, namely the Amiga 500 Mini. Today, we're going to be taking a look at 7 games that you need to add and or buy for your CD32s or other Amiga home computers. But if you are new here, I welcome you first and foremost. We've done so many episodes to do with the Amiga over the probably last 8-9 months now, and still my interest, my passion is very much on fire. That's why I'm excited about this one. I really enjoyed doing it and I hope you guys can get some value from it. And if you do, please subscribe and leave a like. But don't do that just yet. Watch it first and then have a butcher's and let me know what you think. Let's take a look. We're kicking off with Kid Chaos on the Amiga and the Amiga CD32. This game has a fantastic premise, which I'll get to, but I just want to comment on the visuals and how nice this looks with the parallax scrolling clouds. You can see the suspension on the bridge there and the little details of the water and the bubbles coming up. They really have gone all out on this level, and boy do they need to, because it really feeds into what you need to do in the gameplay. So what do you need to do? Well, you need to cause as much destruction to the levels as possible, and once you've reached your destruction target in the allocated time, a magic exit will open and you are free to move to the next level. You have your club, which causes 100% of the damage, and all you can do is jump. The spin with the club is a natural thing after you've jumped, so there's no need to be button mashing on Kid Chaos. Kid Chaos will not only cause destruction to the level, but it will also cause destruction to your bank account. You can see the for sale listings right here on eBay. It gets pretty expensive, especially if you want an Amiga CD32 version. Kid Chaos not only looks great, plays great and feels great, but it also sounds great and is well in tune, excuse the pun, with the 90s rave and dance scene. That's just my personal opinion though. What do you think? Yep, there's definitely some 90s dance music in there. Also take note to how fast Kid Chaos moves. You saw back then that he was utilising springs to get a little bit of momentum in order to fly off to the left. Again, very reminiscent of Sonic. And if you look at the level design, you can see a hell of a lot of Sonic in there. Even the spin in the jump reminds me of how fast Sonic goes, and I just think it feels great. Speaking of Sonic, we had some really cool special stages in Sonic, and that's right, in Kid Chaos we have some really cool special stages too. As you can see one here, very reminiscent of a game that I'm sure you will recognise. So this, I thought, was a great game to start us off on this list, and certainly a game that if you want to buy and burn a massive hole in your pockets, let me know, because I'd love to hear from you. Have you played it? Will you play it? Let's continue, but first, let's just take a look at some of the other levels and colour palettes and awesome parallax scrolling effects in this upcoming couple of clips. Oh yes, the classic Psygnosis logo. But we're not talking about the likes of, say, Destruction Derby. Oh no, another classic Psygnosis release. We're talking about Globule, the pinky purple blob that has to navigate levels by jumping and crawling to any surface that is on screen. I'm a sucker for bright colours, and I think that's what drew me to this game. But it looks really nice, and it's pretty simple in terms of its premise as well. So yes, it's great, it's easy on the eye, but it's pretty cool navigating the levels, trying to avoid the spikes and the fire pits and time your jumps just right whilst collecting the various items of gorgeous fruit and cake in order to progress. Globule was both praised and criticised for its simplicity, stating that it was definitely for the young audience, but I'm 39 and I think this looks and plays absolutely fantastic. And sometimes we can be guilty of forgetting the simple games, and I think what the Amiga scene did so well are produce games like this. Easy, simple, straightforward, you jump, you move on. It's a great formula and one that I would highly suggest you buy in. You can get an unboxed copy for about £13–14 on eBay, so that's not too bad in terms of price as well. Marvin's Marvellous Adventures. A bit of a mouthful, and arguably a bit of an eyesore, as some may say, but me personally, I think this looks charming, and it looks really nice with those parallax scrolling clouds in the background. We have a great midground and foreground as well. Yes, it can look like there's maybe something too much going on at times, perhaps a little bit like Zool in terms of its colour palette, but I think this packs a really tasty punch, not to mention the load screens in between levels as well. So what do you need to do? Our aim is to finish the level by collecting items, killing enemies, and just having fun. This is a classic side-scrolling platform game that oozes 90s charm. But it's not all been plain sailing for our blonde boy Marvin. The reviews weren't so kind, they range from a 2 out of 5, but glide all the way up to 85%. Pretty cool, and I think it's one of those games that you're going to need to play for yourself, and I guess it's going to be a little bit like Marmite. You're going to love it, or you're going to hate it. Now over to Arabian Nights, in which we take on the role of Sinbad Jr. This is a really cool platformer in which you have to collect various pockets of treasure, find different NPCs on the map, and basically give them your treasure in order to get an item to be able to progress through the level, ideally to the exit. I really like the pacing of this one. I think the graphics look great, and hell, there's even some shoot 'em up mechanics as you progress through the levels. It really does have a nice eclectic variety of gameplay, one in which you guys need to get on your Amiga 500s or CD32s, whatever it is you decide to play this on. Next up is Premiere, a game that was released in 1992 on the CD32 and on the Amiga 500. Now, out of all the games on this list, there's no denying that Premiere's visuals are absolutely stunning. And when I was reading into this, Jer O'Carroll is one of the lead animators on this game. You might not be familiar with the name, but you'll be familiar with films like The Land Before Time, and you should definitely be familiar with Tomb Raider 3 and onwards right up until The Angel of Darkness, because he was one of the lead animators on those games as well. So this guy has some serious credentials. You play the role of a movie director in Premiere, and you have to navigate through various studios in order to grab or retrieve your stolen footage. Critic reviews range from 67% all the way up to 92% from the various Amiga magazines back in the early 90s, but I would suggest that you try this one out for yourself, and if you're looking for something pretty cool to play on your Amiga 500 minis, or perhaps you want to splash out on a copy from eBay or one of your local retro game stores, then I would strongly advise that you do so, especially if you're a sucker for stunning graphics like this. What could possibly be going on for Woody in this eclectic world of complete chaos? Well, let's find out, shall we? Thankfully, this is not as straightforward as it might appear, because the exit has to be opened by collecting enough items on the level for it to, essentially open. You can see Woody there just bashing some hearts as well. That improves your efficiency to be able to gain extra lives, and it's dead simple. By killing enemies, you can fire little stars at them, or you can jump on them to just kill them. You'll notice here that there's a costume change. We have a crown and we have our gorgeous red. We'll call it a dressing gown, shall we? What does the crown mean? Well, it means you can jump slightly higher. It means you're essentially a better, more powerful version of Woody, so you can reach higher platforms and just be a little bit cooler. But we're now back as normal Woody in our basic wizard's costume. That doesn't mean to say that the level or the game becomes any more basic. In fact, I think these following few clips show how awesome the level design actually is. I love that you can scroll from left to right, up and down, right to left. There's a great use of verticality, and I think that this game does have quite a long life cycle of plays. So get on it, guys. Let me know if you've played it, but I highly recommend you check this one out. Traps and Treasure is up next, and I really like this one. Check out this overhead map as you're gliding towards one of the levels here. Now, once in the levels, there's plenty to do with use of your dagger and your very stiff agility. And when I say agility, you're going to make sure you need to use that very much in the water levels, because it literally feels like those annoying levels in Mario Brothers where you're just gliding through enemies, trying to avoid and swim at the right areas and then let go of the swim so you can sink. But nonetheless, it's pretty cool to have some swim mechanics as well as some on-land platforming too. You can collect items in the world, cash and use them in the shops in order to boost, say, your life bar, for example. Vitamins and minerals are also very important in this game. If you take a look in the top right, you can see it says vitamins, and you need to fill this in order to collect additional life points. So pick up your cutlass, I mean dagger, and you and Flynn can have some awesome adventures over this festive period. Let me know what you think in the comment section, as this, for me, is one of my secret hidden gems on this list. Pretty gnarly stuff, if I do say so myself. We had quite an eclectic mixture there of platformers that vary from being just mindless to actually having a purpose, such as collecting all the items in order for exits to appear. And I really like that variety. But my question to you is, which one was your favourite? You may have actually owned them all, you may have played them all, you may have completed them all. No matter what it is, let me know, because I love reading your stories, your memories and your comments as well, especially on the Amiga episodes. So I have one final question for you. Out of the following, the Amiga 500, the Amiga 600, the Amiga 1200 and the Amiga CD32, if you could only have one for the rest of your life, which Amiga would it be and why? I've got a feeling most people are going to say an Amiga 1200, which is clearly the superior home computer, and obviously with the CD32, you have much of the 1200's capability nonetheless. But I want to know what you think. So we're going to end it there. Please subscribe and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers. I need a few seconds of your time to tell you about channel memberships. If you guys want to become a channel member, click join from the main page or the second link in the description. There are 3 tiers, all with different perks for you if you want to become a team member. Thanks for your time. Let's continue with the video.